So let's dive into a work with a title that's as strange as it is beautiful. The clocks have swallowed their hands. It's a story that really makes you question something we take for granted every single moment of our lives, time itself. And it all kicks off with this question, supposedly found scratched into a station bench. What was the face before the mirror learned to lie? It's this deep philosophical question about authenticity, you know? It's asking, what's really there before we start to measure it, define it, and interpret it? Honestly, this one question is the key to everything that's about to unfold. At its heart, this whole thing lays out two totally different ways of experiencing time and really reality itself. The big question is this. Is life just a long, straight corridor we're all walking down, or is it something more? I don't know, complex, like an intricate fold. Let's break that down a bit. On one side, you've got the corridor. This is life as a simple sequence. This happened, and then this happened, and then the next thing. It's a world built on clean separation and hard, measurable facts. But then, on the other side, you have the fold. And that's a life of everything at once, a world of simultaneity, where things you think are totally separate are actually deeply, deeply entangled. So first, let's take a walk down that corridor. This is the reality most of us just assume we live in, right? It's a world governed by logic, by separation, and by the steady, predictable tick-tock of linear time. The champion for this worldview is a voice in the text called Kronix Linear. You can kind of think of it as this narrator whose only job is to cut through all the messy feelings and interpretations to get to what it thinks is the only thing that matters, the hard, cold, measurable facts. And this quote just perfectly nails Kronix's whole perspective. It takes this moment of, profound human experience and just dismisses it as wanting. For this voice, once you strip away all that messy poetry and desire, all you're left with is a list. A woman, a window, a rain. Tuesday, 4:15 p.m. For Kronix, that is the only truth that counts. This image is the perfect metaphor for the corridor. In this reality, time is just a long hallway. The past, that's just a bunch of rooms you've already walked through, and the doors are sealed behind you forever. The only way to go is forward. But what if that's not the whole story? Because then the text introduces us to a completely different kind of reality. Not a world of sequence, but one of deep, interconnected duration. A life that's just full of echoes and rhymes. This is the world of a woman named Lena. For her, the future isn't some distant thing that's on its way. No, it's already here, and it's actively shaping her present. The text calls it forward remembering. It's almost like the future is a memory she just hasn't technically lived yet. So how does that actually work? For Lena, things that seem totally unrelated suddenly connect, or rhyme, across time. It all starts with a memory of a hill she saw when she was a kid. And that golden gray color of that hill is somehow the exact same color as the hand of a man she won't even meet for another 19 years. Which in turn has the exact same quality as the taste of cumin in an apartment that she has yet to rent. You see? For Lena, the hill, the hand, and the taste, they aren't separate events in a line. They are one single, layered, simultaneous experience. And this is the fold. It's not a straight line that you walk. It's more like a surface that turns back in on itself, a place where the past, the present, and the future are all tangled up together, implicated in one another, right here, right now. Okay, and this is where things get really fascinating. The story brings in a scientist, Dr. Sára. Now, she lives in that corridor world of hard physics, but her own research leads her straight to this undeniable personal experience of the fold. So her field of research is quantum entanglement. This is a real thing, by the way, where two particles can get so linked that they act like a single system. And what happens to one of them instantaneously affects the other one, even if they're miles and miles apart. It's a real-world scientific fact that just breaks our normal understanding of space and time. But then, Sára, the scientist, starts to feel this scientific principle in her own body. It stops being just data on a screen and becomes this physical sensation, a hum, a vibration, as if she herself has become entangled with something huge and invisible. And this is the absolute heart of the story. Sára's experiment proves that two photons, 14 kilometers apart, are acting as one single entangled system. And at that very same moment, two women, Lena and Sára, who are also 14 kilometers apart, feel the exact same unexplainable resonance. The objective science and the subjective human feeling become the same thing.
So what happens when the voice of pure, cold reason gets confronted with a pattern that is just so perfect, so elegant, that it simply can't be ignored? Well, at first, Kronix Linear offers up a perfectly neat scientific explanation. It's a coincidence. Our brains are wired to see patterns. That's how we survived, so we assign meaning to things even when there isn't any. Meaning, Kronix argues, is just a story we tell ourselves because it feels safer than pure chaotic randomness. But then, right after that super confident dismissal, the text just drops this bombshell. For the very first time, the voice of pure sequence, the champion of the corridor, feels its own logical foundation start to crack. It begins to suspect that it doesn't have a choice, that maybe it too is just another piece in a much, much larger pattern.
And that leaves us with one last question that goes way beyond the story itself. Is our world really built on simple separation, on that straightforward logic of and then, and then, and then? Or is that just the story we've learned to tell ourselves? A story that helps us make sense of a reality that is far more entangled, far more deeply folded than we could ever possibly imagine.